When Mama prayed, heaven paid attention. The angels spread their wings and stood prepared. And once again, Satan knew he'd been defeated. 'Cause God had heard my dear old mama's prayer. In my yesteryears of childhood, Mama taught me having fun with Sunday morning meeting every time the church begun. And after our devotion, well, she'd lead me up those stairs where I first heard the echo of my dear old mama's prayer. And when my mama prayed, heaven paid attention. The angels spread their wings and stood prepared. Once again, Satan knew he'd been defeated. 'Cause God had heard my dear old mama's prayer. In this modern age, tanks and ships and guns, when men believe there's just one way that a war is ever won. Well, I've had that secret weapon that all the bombs cannot compare. I've won 1,000 battles with my dear old mama's prayer. When my mama prayed, heaven paid attention. Angels spread their wings and stood prepared. Once again, Satan knew he'd been defeated. 'Cause God had heard my dear old mama's prayer. If you could leave. I'm sorry. I missed it. I'm sorry. That's fine. Do it again. When my mama prayed, heaven paid attention. The angels spread their wings and stood prepared. Once again, Satan knew he'd been defeated. 'Cause God had heard my dear old mama's prayer.
Haley Poole. She was born June 11th, 1936, and she died June 23rd, 2021. She's survived by her children, Billy and Kelly Williams, Linda and David Sturdivant, Steve and Pam Poole, Barbara and Tim Ratley, David and Cindy Poole, Mauveline and Rodney Phillips, Christy and Chris Galt. Her brother, Joe Williams. She has a sister, Fanny Young. 12 grandchildren, 12 great-grandchildren, and a host of loving family members and friends. She was preceded in death by her husband, Malcolm Poole, one son, Mike Poole, 4 sisters, Willadine Hammock, Laureen Owens, Naomi Cawthorn, Pansy Sanders, and one brother, Clifford Williams. This was a day that I hoped wouldn't come for a long, long time. But I know probably been 10 or 11 years ago. Brother Rodney and Sister Marveline was having a birthday party or something at their house. And me and Sister Haley was sitting at the kitchen table. Of course, we were eating us a hamburger. We was having us a good time. And she looked at me and she said, Brother Mike, she said, I sure do love you. And that come from the heart. You could just feel that. She said, when I die, I want you to talk over me. And I thought, man, that's going to be a long time away. But I said, I'm honored that she'd even think of me. But Sister Haley, oftentimes I called her Mama. There have been times that we'd get to church and she'd say, Brother Mike, what was wrong last night? You come on my mind and I prayed so hard for you. And I'd been sick. So many times she did that. I always, in these times, I try to pray. Ask God to give me something that I can help, maybe comfort the family. Something I could say that might just go with you after you leave here today. And I had a little job this morning to go do. I like to mow grass. And believe it or not, that's my quiet time. I get on that old mower and I can just fuss at my brothers and sisters, or I can pray, but I try to keep my mind on the Lord. That's my quiet time. And this morning I was asking the Lord to give me something. And as I was mowing along there, it comes so peaceful, it said blessed. And if there's ever been a lady that walked among us that was blessed, Sister Haley was blessed. And not only blessed herself, but she blessed so many people. She was always kind, gentle. And I'm sure there was probably times, Steve and Brother David and you boys and girls, probably there was times where she wasn't too gentle. My mama was the same way. She knowed how to get her point across, sometimes better than Daddy. But she was such a dear soul. She is one that's truly going to be missed. And I thought, Lord, I could read The Virtuous Woman, and she was. And I thought, Lord, I could read the 13th chapter of 1 Corinthians. She was the picture of charity. Every time Brother Gwendol reads that, I get hit. I hadn't got it down right yet. I'm trying. But it always hits me. But Sister Haley was always of that quiet spirit, good and loving. So loving that even, I've got a 4-year-old granddaughter. And we had some calls come in of needing prayer. And Sue was at home with her by herself. And Sue said, Scarlett, let's go pray. And boy, I was right up Scarlett's alley. So they went and got down, and Scarlett began to pray, and Sue was praying. And when they got through, they got up, and Scarlett said, I prayed for Mammy, and I prayed for grandmother, and I prayed for Sister Haley. She loved Sister Haley. And that's because of the love that Sister Haley projected to everybody that was ever got to come in contact with her. She was blessed, Brother Jerry. I met her and her family. I was 13-year-old. In a little bitty church over at Elkwood. And if it's much over 6 foot, you'd hit the ceiling. And I know of some men that got happy and jumped and actually bumped the ceiling. It had such a low ceiling in it. But it had a lot of love in there. Sister Haley would gather all her children and walk to church. She was always had the spirit to live for the Lord. I went home with them one day. That was when me and Mike, I guess, we was big buddies. We got in our meanness together. And it wasn't because he wasn't taught. And it wasn't because I wasn't taught. We were just boys. But sat down to, wow, what a dinner. I mean, it looked like Thanksgiving. Of course, it looked like Thanksgiving when she got her whole family together there like that. I mean, she had a big family. We eat, and I was, back when I was a boy, time just seemed like it went on forever. We had time after we eat. We went fishing. We went down through a field over back where they lived on Elkwood section, Brother David. There was some ponds back there in the field. And, man, we went back there and fished, and we rode around, and, man, we just had a good time. It seemed like we played all day long, and no doubt when it come time to go to church, we were dirty. Smelled like old fish and old boys when they come in from playing. But we went back to church. I've had a love for Sister Haley and the family ever since then. And the whole family's just, they all have that spirit that Sister Haley had. And I mean that. Every one of you's got that sweet soul. And I love that. But what I told you when the Lord brought blessed to my mind, she was truly blessed. And listen, and blessed are the poor in the spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are they that mourn, for they shall be comforted. In every one of these you can see Sister Haley. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Blessed are they which do hunger and thirst after righteousness, for they shall be filled. You couldn't hold her back, Brother Rodney. When it come time for church, it was church. And, even up to the days where she wasn't able to get up and go across the floor, she still, if the Lord told her to go lay hands on Brother Mike on the other side, man, you talking about how happy I was to see her. And she would. She'd be that willing worker and get up and come and lay hands. And she was one that when she got up, I made sure that I tried to get my head out there to where if she just walked by and just barely touched me, I thought I was honored. That's how much she lived that life. And blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. There's coming a day where everybody under the sound of my voice will get to see Jesus. We all will see Jesus. But only the pure in heart that gets to go through those gates will get to see God. And I want to be one of those pure in hearts. And I believe today Sister Haley's pure in heart. Today she's standing before a man that knows her life. And he said a lot of times, especially over in the first part of Revelations, he said, I know thy works. He knows what we do. He knows what we can and can't do. And I'm sure there was probably times where she said, ooh, it's a long way across that altar. But I doubt if that was many times. She was always a worker. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God. Blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are ye when men shall revile you and persecute you, and say all manner of evil against you falsely for my sake. This is what I love. He said, rejoice and be exceedingly glad, for great is your reward in heaven. For so they persecuted the prophets when they were before you. Our goal is to get to go to heaven. And if she could tell y'all anything, she'd say, get ready for this day. Prepare. She knew her days wasn't long. It wasn't a couple of months ago. She was already in bad shape. Had the oxygen. She couldn't get out of her chair. And we went up on Sunday afternoon. And Brother Steve, that was such a wonderful prayer. That Sunday afternoon. We didn't even have to get down on our knees. The power of God met us. And boy, before we left, she had done perked up, Brother Jerry. She was laughing and a cutting up, and she got to come back to church. She took her oxygen off. Man, she done so good there for a while. The Lord just blessed her. But it become her day. And she knew her day wasn't long, and it's such a comfort when she can say, or anybody can say, I'm ready to go. This old world, I'm tired. And I'm ready to go to that other place. Mama told us, she says, don't worry for me. She said, I've worked for this day a long time. And she said, I'm actually excited. Sister Haley was ready to go. And Brother Steve, as much as we don't want her to go, the Lord got ready for her. And her day come. She is a woman that is truly blessed. I'm not going to keep y'all no long time. She has withstood a bunch of my sermons that probably got a little lengthy. She never said anything. She smiled. But I called her Mama. And my mom passed many, many years ago. Sister Haley sure treated and loved me like a mother. Y'all have truly something to stand proud of, and try to walk in her shoes, because she led a path that I wouldn't be afraid of anybody to step through.
The singing sure is beautiful. At a time like this, it seems to kind of soothe and help us through these times. Nobody takes a lot of joy in this, but I feel honored today to be asked to be part of this service. I first started coming over here, coming around. Heard them talking about Sister Haley. Brother Mike may have even mentioned some of it. Come time to go to church, she just picked him up and here she went. Well, out on Sand Mountain, around Higdon, Ider, where a lot of her family from or live there, guess what they's doing over there? Same thing she's doing over here. I was raised among people that when it come time to church, time for church, you found them in church all the time. Walk, rain, whatever. They just tuck them under their arms and pray. And I'm going to say this. Her sisters and them that I knew come up under and around, her and a whole host of others have set that example for us is the reason we know today about the way called holiness. Amen. Because those people lived that when it was good, when it was easy, whatever it was, they just held on. And by them doing that, I have learned through the years that I can make it too. Because of the example they set. You've seen them go and struggle, but you know what? I get back out to church house, and I'm going to be honest now, I've seen a few times when they kind of carried them troubles out there to the church. Human. If you ain't never done that, you just done better than I done. But they'd go out there at that church house, struggle through them trying days and them trying times. And when they got to church, if they carried them in any other trouble out there with them, they managed to get their mind above that. The first thing you know, the house light up almost because of the power of God. Because of people like that held it up in front of us for generations in the past. I want to read just a little bit. I won't take a whole lot of your time. Let not your heart be troubled. You believe in God, believe also in me. In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you. She never lived in a mansion down here. And what I knew about her, I don't know that she was really interested in that. She is interested in that mansion in the sky where she could go at the end of this and live for a long time, have peace and joy and never no more heartaches. And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you unto myself, that where I am, there you may be also. What a promise. What a promise. And whether I go, you know, and how the way you know. Now I'm going to skip on down in this chapter and read something over here just a little bit further along. If you love me, keep my commandments. If I love God, it shows. Don't have to tell everybody about it. Don't have to hold up a big old flag. If I love God, it shows. And I will pray the Father, and he shall give you another comforter. A comforter for the days like this. A comforter for them other days it wasn't so good. A comforter that'll be with you children as long as you live. Your mother, I thought about this, I guess it was last day or two, I'm not sure. No doubt there's a lot of prayers that Sister Haley prayed for her children. Probably no telling. I doubt if this little old mind of mine could even comprehend the number if you could write it down. And every once in a while along down the road, one of you children run up against something or a problem, or you get sick or whatever might come your way, and the Lord would reach out and grab one of those prayers that she prayed and answer that prayer for you that she prayed years ago. That's the way it happens. That's the way it happened. I won't be too much longer with this. even the Spirit of truth, whom the world cannot receive. Cannot receive. Because it seeth him not, never knoweth him, but you know him, for he dwelleth with you and shall be in you. These people of the world right today, and I know that's just going to be an old country boy saying it. It ain't proper English. But you ain't. They say you ain't seen nothing yet. You ain't. They can't see. They can't see the forest for the trees. They can't see. But God opened our heart one time, and we could see into this for our own self and have consolation in it. One more verse, and I guess I'll close. I will not leave you comfortless. I will come to you. When we bow on our knees, or we bow really and truly, that's a good thing to do, to bow down on your knees. But did you know if you can bow in the right manner with a humble heart, you can touch the throne of grace? I believe the Lord has allowed people to touch the throne of grace for me, as probably for all of y'all that are here today. Somebody else has intervened on your behalf and touched that throne, and you reap the benefits of it, and it helps you down the road of life. I think a lot of this family love them. Never had the privilege of being around them until about the last, 20 years. I'm guessing about that, somewhere in that neighborhood. Got acquainted with a bunch of them. And I'm glad to say today that I'm a member of the church that we call our home church. God has blessed us in a wonderful way, and let's just all stay together. And you family, stay together. And I know that'd be a prayer that your mother would pray, that y'all stay together, love one another, be good to one another. And when it's all said and done, when the last song has been sung, when the last testimony has been given, when the last sermon has been preached, let's meet over yonder.
All coming down from God out of heaven. The walls are of jasper, the gates are of pearl, and streets of pure gold. He tells of a pure river of life that flows from the throne. And when we have reached that beautiful place, we'll know as we're known. Let's meet by the river over on that beautiful shore. Let's meet by the river where loved ones dwell who've gone on before. If you leave here first, just wait by the river. If I leave you here, that's where you'll find me. Let's meet by the river over on that beautiful shore. If you leave me standing here on this earth, let's meet by the river. It's such a good place for us to meet over there. And after I find you, let's go see Jesus. Then let's go find our dad and mother. Let's meet by the river over on that beautiful shore. Let's meet by the river over on that beautiful shore. Let's meet by the river where loved ones dwell who've gone on before. If you leave here first, just wait by the river. If I leave you here, that's where you'll find me. Let's meet by the river over on
would like to thank you for being a part of today's service. We regret to inform you that the Madison County Sheriff's Department has notified us that they will not be able to be here today to escort family and friends to the cemetery. Therefore, there will be no funeral procession. In a moment, everyone will be dismissed to individually make their way to the cemetery where the graveside service will be held. We ask that you make your way there as safely and as quickly as possible. If you have any questions, please speak with a funeral home staff member at the conclusion of the service. Again, thank you for your presence.